we like to thank Denise, who is a nurse practitioner, used to be working at Alina. I'll let her introduce, maybe say
Yeah.
a snippet of her story. And Brennan, who you've been hearing, we've been talking about his recent wedding and he's got a new house. So he's a rep that used to be working with Tandem as well. And Denise is very familiar with Tandem herself. So
I
I'll let you
am
guys introduce.
Denise Brown. I come from the endocrine clinic at Alina. That's where I worked for the last 8, almost 9 years. And then now I just started working for this new company called Sequel, and we're coming out with the pump Twiist AID system. So yeah, and I've been living with type 1 diabetes since I was 18. So well, I'll just say more than 20 years. That's what I'll say that. So I have pretty much, I'm trying to think if I've not tried Beta Bionics, but otherwise I've tried every pump out there, including the DIY looping myself. So, but yeah, I've not done the islet cell or whatever that one's called. I haven't done that. A little bit too nervous to try that one, but yeah. So I've definitely, kind of similar vein to Brad, where we've got to try everything and get our hands on it ourselves to get a good opinion of it. So, but yeah, and then I'll let Brennan introduce himself as well.
Yeah, I'm Brennan. As Brad had mentioned, I did formerly work with Tandem, started with their inbound supplies team, and then worked my way through and covered most of or all of Minnesota for the last couple of years. So if you started at Tandem in the last couple of years, there's a good chance you probably spoke with me at some point. And then I've made the switch over here to the Twiist or Sequel, the name of the company, but Twiist the device here, and pretty excited to go ahead and get started talking about it. So yeah, I'll let Denise, go ahead and start right away.
Yeah. So the Twiist AID system, we're calling it an AID system. I don't know if you can, does it show me when I'm talking? I believe it
Mhm.
does. Okay. This is what it looks like. And then we've got here, go ahead and are you going next?
I'll get
You're
the slides for you
okay,
here.
thank you. Okay, I was like, I don't know if I have control. Um, so something we think is really cool is that Dean Kamen is the president and co-founder of Sequel Medtech, and he is the brains and the person that developed the first wearable insulin pump that was then sold to Medtronic. Um, and this is his sequel. He's called, that's kind of the name of the company here because he developed a new way of thinking about insulin delivery systems. Um, so that's just a quick little snapshot of Dean Kamen. He's quite an interesting guy. If you guys want to happen to, I don't know, Google him and listen to some TED Talks, he's a pretty rad guy.
The
But
segue. That's one of the
oh
probably the most
yes, yes, he
well
created the
known is the
segue.
segue.
But I think he's done a lot of other really cool things that are more medically focused. But yes, he's a pretty cool um, inventor dude. I guess I don't know what you want to call him, but yeah. So it's about time we rethink insulin pumps because we're not using the same telephone we used in the 70s, are we? So it's fair to say we can certainly improve on something that was previously made and used in 1970. So, all right, go ahead, Brennan. Don't know if you're doing the
Yeah,
next one. Go
yep,
ahead.
I'll go ahead here. So some of the things here that the Twist device is looking to go ahead and, address would be things along the lines of accessibility, technological limitations as well, and then the lack of personalization and flexibility. So a couple of the things that we will be able to go ahead and address with the Twist device here is we will be going through pharmacy coverage here, which means you are not locked into any sort of contract. You do get a 3-year warranty with this device. So if it does break and you're on it, we'll go ahead and fix that stuff for you. But since it is going through that pharmacy benefit, we are hoping to have this at a lower cost for everybody. For most commercially covered patients, we are looking at a $0 for the device and the first month, and then ideally no more than $50 per month afterwards. Again, that is for most commercially covered patients. We are expanding coverage as things are going. Letty, I know you had mentioned right away at the beginning here, Medicare, that is coming. That will just take a little bit of time. So we'll expect some sort of coverage with that in the future. And then we have their loop technology that we'll talk about a little bit more in depth here. Just some key highlights. Brad had put this in the email as well, is we do have the widest glucose target range at that 87 to 180. And we'll go into a little bit more of the details, but you can set a specific range at wherever you would like. So for example, if you want to be targeting 100 to 110, you can go ahead and do that. If you want to be a little bit higher, a little bit lower, that's something that you can definitely go ahead and set on the device. And then that just kind of leads a little bit into the personalization aspect of it, how you want to wear it, what do you want to set those targets at. We do have things like pre-meal presets and workout presets and things along those lines that you'll be able to go ahead and adjust. And we'll go into that stuff here in a little bit more in depth, but just kind of continuing on here. So some of the core components here of the Twiist AID system. So you'll have currently it is the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor. We will have Eversense next year, and then we're hopefully going to have Dexcom at some point in the future as well. You have the Twiist pump itself, and then you'll have your controller, which is on your phone on the app, or if you have a compatible watch, you can actually go ahead with the Apple Watch, control a lot of the things there. So there's functionality on that. We'll again go into a little bit more detail here in a little bit, but things like giving yourself a meal bolus, correction boluses, those presets, you can go ahead and start those on the watch, and then everything else will be controlled through the phone there if you'd like to go ahead and do that. The algorithm is on the pump itself. So if you don't have your phone for whatever reason, the system will continue to keep you in loop. It'll still work as long as it's got connection to that Freestyle Libre sensor. You just won't be able to go ahead and, since you don't have the phone, can't see kind of what's going on and make adjustments there on yourself. But it'll work if you go for a walk or something like that and forget to bring it with you. But yeah, we'll go ahead here, Denise, and I'll pass it off to you for the next slide. Oh, it's giving me all of that stuff. I just talked about.
Yep.
So I will go ahead and let Denise here take the next slide.
Yeah. So something that's pretty cool is our Twiist Loop algorithm is going to forecast your glucose, and it looks 6 hours into the future. However, I don't want you to feel nervous or get gun shy about that, because it's constantly recalculating, similar to like a nav on your car. If you're driving with a Google Maps or something, and you take a different turn, it's going to recalculate. So that's the same thing that this algorithm is doing. So of course, if you're going to enter carbs or eat or change your activity level, and as your glucose level changes based from your sensor, it's going to adjust the background insulin and adjust the algorithm every 5 minutes. So it is not a learning algorithm. It is taking settings that are programmed in, prescribed by your endo or provider, and then it's making those adjustments every 5 minutes. So it's pretty slick. And then what am I missing here? I feel like there's something I can't see. Yeah, I said the every 5 minutes piece. Okay, go ahead and go to the next page, Brennan. I don't think I have control of it. So what's really great is there's a lot of adjustments we can make, or your provider and you can make and personalization in these settings. So we say 87 to 180. However, you're maybe not going to want to set it that wide. Maybe you want to set it, 90 to 120, and then, and whatnot. So you can do a lot of personalization. There is a lot of great features that you don't have to use, but there are some that you can go back in and adjust your meal after you've eaten and say, make changes to that. There's very fast detection of any occlusion. So I don't know if you guys are ever feeling like you have a bad site or a kinked cannula, or if you have anything that you've noticed like that. You don't often get an occlusion alarm. However, it would be nice to get something like that very early on, which is what our system does. So it is 9 times faster than any other loop system out there. So and it's under 20 minutes. So instead of waiting for your blood sugar to be 300 to 400 and realizing you have a crappy site, you are going to get an alert within 20 minutes that your insulin is not being delivered through your cannula very efficiently. So that's pretty rad.
Yeah. And the next slide here, we're going to have a short video that will kind of explain what that iSure technology is and how it's actually making sure that we are detecting those occlusions that up, like we said, up to 9 times faster. About that 19 minutes is what we're looking at. So let me go ahead here and then make sure I've got my audio that's able to be go ahead and shared with you guys. So let me know if we can hear this video. If I can get it to start for me. There we go.
The Twiist AID system
Can everybody
uses
hear that?
innovative technology to precisely and directly measure the insulin delivered to the user. This technology is called iSure technology. To understand this innovation in greater detail, let's take a look inside of the pump. The Twiist AID system has two parts, the pump and the disposable cassette. The pump has an iSure sensor that uses sound waves to take precise volume measurements. The Twiist disposable cassette has an iSure chamber. Each pulse of insulin enters this chamber before being delivered to the user. As insulin flows through the system, the Twiist AID system uses 4 key checkpoints to validate the precise dose amount. Here's how. First, before the insulin enters the iSure chamber, a measurement is taken to establish a baseline. Next, the iSure chamber is filled with insulin and sound waves from the iSure sensor measure the volume of insulin. After a slight pause, the iSure sensor takes another measurement to confirm the amount of insulin in the iSure chamber. Once the volume is confirmed, the iSure chamber delivers the insulin dose to the user. After the dose is delivered, the iSure sensor takes a final measurement of the iSure chamber. This allows the system to calculate the amount of insulin delivered to the user. The precise measurement of insulin delivered via iSure technology informs the system to make adjustments and allows for the detection of insulin flow issues up to 9 times faster than other AID systems, potentially allowing users to take action earlier.
So a couple things with that as well that I do want to mention with that iSure technology is that does mean that this is the only device on the market that is measuring the direct volume of insulin that is being delivered, rather than a distance of the piston that's moving up to go ahead and deliver that. So this can detect if you are not getting insulin. So it can detect blockages. It can detect if there's something that's not insulin being delivered. So it will go ahead and alert you right away and allow you to go ahead and make those adjustments right away if needed, whether that's changing a site, running a self-check, refilling the tubing, if there's air in there, things along those lines. So this will go ahead and allow you to check that right away, and the system will go ahead and do that and alert you right away for that. But yeah, I will go ahead here and, oh, it started the video here. There we go. Now I'll go ahead and pass it along to Denise here to talk a little bit about this.
So we are working on an on-body wear. So that was just something I wanted to bring up right away because a lot of people are reluctant to consider tubing. However, I do want to point out that it is a very tiny, very cute little pump. It holds 300 units and it is approximately the weight of a golf ball. So it is pretty awesome. There's lots of places you can tuck it. And it absolutely fits in the pocket of jeans. I know a lot of people that cut a little hole in their pocket and they just snake that tubing right through and they don't even have to have any tubing come outside of their body. But we are working on an on-body adhesive that's going to be relatively quite low profile and not a huge footprint is our goal, is to keep the footprint nice and low or nice and I don't know, not low. I don't know what small. I don't know what the word is for that, but so more to come on that. And yeah, and then we're attached by the Clio 90. I don't know if any of you guys wore pumps back in the day, but the Clio 90, can you guys see this? Or no? Can everybody see this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the Clio 90 is a pretty standard looking infusion site, except for you can adjust the directionality of your tubing. I don't know if I really can't tell if you guys could see this or not, but so your tubing can come out a different direction, whichever day of the week you want to swap it out. There's 8 different, it's like shaped like a little octagon. Does this make sense? Sorry, it's really hard
Yeah.
for me to tell
No,
what you
it
guys can
looks
see and
good.
what you
I
can't
could see it,
see.
Denise. Yep.
Okay, good. I'm like, flying blind here. Okay, so that's pretty fun. I just have it stuck on a plastic packaging thing here. But and it's a Tegaderm adhesive, which I really like. I don't do well with the other, I call it paper tape or whatever it's called. But so it's a Tegaderm adhesive. And and yeah, you can change your directionality without removing your whole site, which is pretty fun, in my opinion. Um, as a diabetic for this many years, you kind of start to geek out over things like this. I don't know. So, anyways, okay, go ahead, go to the next one, Brennan.
Can
I
you
don't know.
can you tell me a little bit more about insertion? Is it just like a push in or
Yeah, I'll
you
show it to
stick the
you.
Yeah.
needle? Because I think
Yeah.
that's Tandem's greatest weakness is the dexterity
Uh-huh.
that a patient needs, and their infusion sets have just not
In
updated.
fact,
That's
do you guys want me to insert one for you? I was just doing this with my coworker on the phone because she was having some challenges with it. Okay, so it comes. I'm gonna turn this over so I can see what you guys can see. So it's all in one like this. The tubing is in a little separate envelope like this. So here's your inserter. No cats behind me, sorry. Here's your Clio 90, and then here's your tubing that you'll attach after it's on you. So is it weird if I just do it on myself? I'll show it to you on this ball. Okay. So you are gonna unscrew, and inside, you've got the little needle and the all that good stuff. And then you're gonna it's just like a one-handed thing. So
Mhm.
did you hear the click or no? Sorry, I don't know if you guys heard it.
That's all good. You can see it.
And then, ooh, of course, now I'm probably got a dud one just because I'm on display here. Yeah, and then it's on like that. And this little white tab, from what I remember when I was young using an Animas pump, this is how you can pull the Tegaderm off. This little tab is kind of a sort of a little, I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, when you're done
Um,
with the infusion set, it's an easy way to pull it off, you're saying?
yeah, because otherwise Tegaderm is pretty tough to get on and off. But this is your tubing. Then your tubing comes in the little envelope
Oh,
and you'll attach it like a little, it's hard to tell, but it's the
yeah.
shape of an octagon. Like, I don't know if you can see that.
Yep, yep, we can see that.
So then you can like it can be rotated in different directions, which I think is pretty slick. Um, but so yeah, it's all in one piece. Or I mean, sorry, it's not all in one piece. It's just easier insertion. It's one-handed as opposed to tandem where you're like,
Yep,
I don't know, you're not pinching. You're literally just going and it is in, you know.
yeah. How do you connect it
Um,
to the pump then with that tubing?
Yep. So
we've got a
that'll
little pigtail guy.
All
will
right.
connect via lure lock. So
Yeah.
if for whatever reason the Clio 90 does not work for you, but you have access to other infusion sets that have the lure lock connector, you can go ahead and use those as well.
Or if
You
you
just
like
can't.
steel, there's like the steel sets from or whatever they're called, Sure T or Sure whatever the steel ones from Medtronic or other places that
Tandem.
make a steel set. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Tandem you
Tandem
can't
has
because
their own
they're
proprietary
proprietary lure lock.
lock, so you can't use their infusion sets. But
They have a T lock, so they
yes.
don't share their infusion sets with anybody. Um, But what it comes with is a standard 90, Jesus, sorry, 22-inch tubing. 90 tubing would be way too long. Um, and and the Clio 90s. And if you guys want, I have my starter kit that I just received in the mail today. If you guys want me to do an unboxing after this, I'd be happy to unbox it with you if people want. I don't know if people are into that kind of thing or not, but um
So
okay,
you
sorry.
haven't started it up yet, though. yourself.
No, not yet.
And
In
then of
fact,
course you need the Libre, so there's probably a few
yep,
other things.
no, I just was gonna show to open it to show you, like whatever those, I don't know. My kids used to love those unboxing videos. I don't
Uh,
know, but that's
Okay,
no.
before we go for a walk, just in here.
Alrighty. Well, we'll go ahead and continue on here.
Thank
So
you.
just no worries. Just want to talk a little bit about the Twiist app here itself. So I know it's probably not super big on your screens here, but you can go ahead and see the app itself. So this is what it actually looks like when you go and have that pulled up. Um, Big thing here, what we're really looking at and what we recommend a lot of people too, because it does seem like there's a fair amount of information on here, is we are just going to be looking at the four corners. So the top bar there, you can see the blood glucose level, the direction that is going in. You can see the green circle, that is the full loop, which means you are looping. Or it's kind of way I like to remember that there. And then on the right-hand side of that, still up to that topper bar there, and again, it's a little small, so if you can't see it, that's okay. It'll actually tell you the amount of insulin over your set basal rate that you are getting, or if you're getting less than your set basal rate at that specific time, it will also tell you. So it'll show a little top hat action. That's how you know that I'm getting a little bit more, and then the amount is right below that. And if it looks like a little bucket, that means you're getting less. And then if it's a straight line, that just means you're getting exactly what has been programmed for that basal rate at that specific time. And then the right hand, all the way over the right, there's two little icons that you can see the amount of insulin that you have and the battery amount. And those will move independently and they'll change colors. When you get to 20%, it goes to gold. And then if you're 10% remaining in either the battery or the cassette, it'll go ahead and go to red for you. And then on the very bottom, which is kind of covered up by the tubing here. This picture is not fantastic, but it'll have your meal bolus option all the way over to the furthest left on the bottom, the pre-meal presets, correction bolus is in the middle there with the double triangle down, and then the heart is for your exercise activity. And yeah, go ahead, Brad, please. You stop me.
Sorry. No. So question, looks like that line is no longer dots. They're connecting those lines. And that's probably because it's
Yeah.
Libre, right?
Are you talking about the glucose line?
Yep, the glucose line is no longer
Yeah.
dots.
So it's solid up until the little circle. So that's that 128 dot right there, that
Yep.
little round circle. And then it has a dash. It's dashed because that's estimated. So that's the predicted. Yeah. It used to be with Dexcom, it was like a different, yeah, it was like, it was
Dots.
little dots.
Yeah, probably every
Yes.
5 minutes versus Libre every 1 minute. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. And
Well,
it is
and
taking
even,
that information every minute.
yep,
It's just not acting on it for every
Yep.
5
the
minutes.
algorithm
But
is
it will
not
take that
adjusting
information.
except for every 5 minutes, but it does get the information every minute. So,
Mhm.
which is pretty.
Yeah. What do you guys see
Yep.
on the battery charge? How long does the battery last for a patient?
Yeah. So those of the people that are currently on the device here, we're seeing the battery last past the cassette change, which is 3 days we recommend is the maximum for the cassette change. And the battery, depending on usage, some people say that they could potentially get multiple cassettes out of a battery. Some people say they got about 20% remaining on their battery. They are rechargeable. Um,
You want me to show
Patients will get,
those?
yes, they will get 4. They're proprietary for us, so they get 4. They'll have 2 charging pads for them, and then 2 charging cables and blocks, so you can plug them in. So you can keep one at work if you wanted to, one at home, however you want to kind of split those up. And then they're just rechargeable batteries. We do not recommend that you get rid of them. Please hold on to the batteries. But they are rechargeable and they'll last past the cassette. We haven't had any issues with anybody saying that they haven't lasted past the cassette. In terms of timeline, it just in terms of how much you use the device, how much insulin's running through the system. If you have lower insulin needs, the pump's working, not as hard, so battery will probably last a lot longer. That was some of the people that did get multiple cassettes out of a full battery charge. That could be the case. Otherwise, if you are using closer to that 300 units, might only get 1, but you'll have enough battery right away to get to you, the next day or something like that if you don't change it immediately. So it's not like a hard stop after that 3-day period. And then the batteries are warranted as well. So that if they break for whatever reason, we'll go ahead and cover those. And actually confirmed last week here that we are shipping out 4 batteries if you had a failed battery. So they will get an additional 4.
Yeah.
So you get 2 charge blocks and 4 batteries, but I just don't have my other batteries in here because I have them in my little kit to go along with my pump. And then you'll get 2 cords and 2 nuggets. I don't know. I call these nuggets. I don't know what people call them, but 2. Yeah. So you'll get this. And so I mean, they have been lasting from what I'm hearing, about two, you know, cassette changes or two, reservoir, whatever you want to call it, changes, each battery. And then they, apparently, if they're fully dead, they say they take 6 hours to charge, but I've never seen it take that long, ever, ever, ever. So,
I haven't seen more than an hour.
I've never seen it. And so, yeah, but we recommend changing the battery out each cassette just to keep yourself in the clear of any
You
potential
said
issue. So
1 hour to recharge approximately, Brennan?
I haven't seen, and I had when they shipped to me when I first started them and charged
it
them up,
took
I
like
didn't see it
10
take more than an
minutes.
hour.
Okay.
And those were pretty dead when
Yeah,
I
good to
got
know
them.
because
So
some patients just might not be bringing it with them. That might be the only thing that they have. So you're just curious how long is it going to
mhm,
take to get you back in the game?
mhm.
It sounded like originally they're kind of thinking 2 to 4 weeks for every battery, but it sounds like it's more 3 to 7 days about for
It's
each
Yeah,
about,
what we're
I would say it's about a
recommending.
week. Yeah. It's tough because you could go longer. We just probably don't want to recommend that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll
So,
put it this way. On my demo, I just did a cassette change and kept the battery in, and the battery's been in for 4 days, and I am at like 75% charge,
Gotcha.
is the best way to put that. And I
what
don't
days?
interact with it a ton, but the
Let me
battery can
see.
definitely stay. And it's, giving me the insulin throughout the day and everything like that with that
So
temporary
mine, yeah,
battery.
my battery is 3/4 full. Like I have 75%, and I changed it on um what what day did I train that guy last week? I
That was
changed it
Tuesday.
on last Tuesday. Okay,
Mhm.
so yeah, so it's been over a week,
Mhm.
or it's been not quite a week, sorry, 6 days, and it's 75% full. So
If
I
you
don't know.
do change it, do you have to do a set change or can you
No.
just
No,
Nope,
pull it
you
no.
can
up?
just
Okay.
change the battery if you need to. Um,
We're
whatever's
just
kind of
telling
easiest for.
people because you have it open. It's like kind of, I don't know. That's just sort of how we're teaching it,
It's like
just to
charging your phone
teach.
every night. We want to go ahead and make sure that the phone's charged in case for whatever reason you ran into an issue. So we want to just be, cautious with it. That's the reasoning behind the cassette change. The battery change is done at the same time for that reason. Just in case for whatever reason you're camping or something like that and you decide to extend it an extra day or two and things like that. You want to go ahead and just make sure that you've got everything charged up there. And you guys, I'm sure, are aware of, making sure that you have extra on hand for things like that. So
That's a good thing. That's a
um
pain point from Tandem of battery goes dead. You gotta
Mhm.
reload
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
or lose 10 units is all.
Oh right. Well, you don't have to do that with ours, thankfully. We don't have like a minimum prime tubing amount or anything like that, which is nice.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
okay,
And then, sorry, I just wanted to talk
go
about a
ahead.
couple things that are listed on this page here. So, mealtime insulin. So, you can go ahead and select your carbs with, like I said, that bottom left-hand icon there, the dinner plate to the fork and the knife. There, you have the option to go ahead and click an emoji if you want to. Right away, it'll show up. It'll have a lollipop, taco, and a pizza. There are more emojis that you can go ahead and pick if you wanted to. It always defaults to the taco. You do not need to use that feature at all. It's just an extra option there. It's basically telling the system how long you expect to have the carbs that you're eating in your body, how long they take to digest. So it's an extra thing that if you wanted to tell the device that you are, I'm eating a piece of candy or something like that, and I expect it to go pretty quickly, it lets the system know. It can be a little bit more aggressive if needed. But if you don't tell it anything, it's still going to adjust. It's still taking those readings every 5 minutes to keep that you're in the right spot. It's just one of those extra things that if you wanted to, you can. You don't need to go ahead and do that. And then there's the pre-meal preset. So that'll actually lower the correction range that you have. And that's, again, something that you can go ahead and customize if you wanted to go ahead and set that at a specific level. And that's good. It'll be on for up to an hour or until you enter carbs. So if you were the way it was described to me is, for example, if you were at a restaurant and you don't know exactly when you're going to be getting your food, but you know you're going to be eating it, you can go ahead and, hey, I'm going to turn this on right now, just so I can make sure that the system's a little bit more aggressive, to get me a little bit lower level before I go ahead and eat these carbs that I know are going to spike me. So it's one of those things that if you wanted to go ahead and use that, you most certainly can. And the opposite of that would be the workout mode as well. This has a little bit longer time period. So it's got 1 hour, 2 hours, or until you turn it off. And it'll notify you after 24 hours if you keep it on until you turn it off. And that'll raise the range. And again, that's customizable as well of whatever you want to go ahead and set your target for increased activity. If you're working out, if you're walking around the yard, if you just know that you need to run a little bit higher, you can go ahead and turn that mode on there. And then obviously the correction bolus feature, the system will recommend yay or nay when it comes to a correction bolus. You can override that if you do need to. But the important thing with this algorithm here is it is going to, over a 30-minute period, give you 100% of what it's capable of giving you to go ahead and correct down to that range. So it can actually increase the basal rate by 6.4 times. Or if there's a set maximum basal rate that the doctor will go ahead and set in there, it'll go up to that maximum. And then if it can't get you down within that 30-minute period, then it will recommend a correction bolus there. And again, you can override that if you do need to. But again, trust that the system is going to go ahead and do everything it can to get you in that spot where you want to be in that period. So hopefully it'll prevent you from stacking insulin and things along those lines. But that's just kind of briefly about that there. I'll go ahead and just continue here. We'll talk a little bit about the watch aspect here. So this is actually what it will look like on here. There's a small video that we can go ahead and play, but before I do that, I just want to talk about it. It has the exact same icons that you would have on your phone, so there's no difference in that. So for example, here, I don't know if you can see my mouse moving around. Is that okay? Perfect. So right here, this would be the meal bolus there. So you would go ahead and enter that in. It'll look exactly the same as it would on your phone, just a little bit smaller since you're on the watch there. Same thing here with the correction bolus, your pre-meal presets, and then your exercise preset as well. So go ahead and should be pretty quick here. It's about, looks like it's a minute, but it'll go ahead and tell you.
Yeah.
It'll, looks like it's playing there. It's playing. Perfect. Yep. And then there are the emojis there. Again, do not need to interact with this. It will always default to that taco, but just something that if you want to go ahead and tell the system more information, it'll take it gladly and use that. But I think it's going to go through the workout. Yep.
Oh, it's showing that too.
Yep.
I think, was it Laddie was saying that she did the DIY pumping with the Omnipod? Is that
Yeah,
right?
she did, but she got destroyed by the adhesive, so she didn't like the adhesive. She
Mm.
loved the algorithm, really good with it. She
Okay.
brought a
Yeah,
couple users on
Yeah.
I'm a senior and my body couldn't do the Omnipod.
Yeah.
It leaked, it bruised, it hurt, everything
Okay.
about it. So some days Loop worked great, and so I've been using Tandem IQ.
Yeah.
But I'm frustrated with what
Mhm.
it won't do.
Right. And do you have a Medicare Advantage plan?
No, I'm on basic Medicare with a
Basic Medicare?
supplement.
Okay.
And so I do see some gray hair in the gallery. I use my Tandem pump is durable medical equipment. So with Medicare and a supplement, I pay nothing.
Nice.
So pharmacy coverage is great, I guess, for a lot of your customers.
Right.
But at a minimum, it's going to cost me $2,000 a year.
Right.
And we can't even get your free bundle because we're not allowed to get
Yes.
deals.
No savings cards,
So
no coupons.
we're
Right.
just in a different spot.
Yeah. The
Mhm.
Advantage plans, we've been hearing good things. We've been hearing coverage on the Medicare Advantage plans, or at least in Minnesota, we've had a few go through. But we're on a limited launch right now, so we're not launched everywhere yet.
And
So
right now with Medicare, there's stuff going around that Medicare is starting to see. With Dexcom, we're on a subscription plan. They pay, we get 3 months supply, but Medicare has a set rate for each month. And it sounds like they're going to try to start doing the same thing with pumps. So if it's done through durable medical equipment, it'll be fine. But
okay.
I think all of this is evolving.
Right. And of course, as soon as you figure it out, next year it will change, and then
Oh yeah.
who the heck knows what you'll do? I'm sorry, that's not too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon to joke about
and
that.
I have to admit, I'm excited about Twiist, but a lot of it, I've had diabetes for a long, long time. All of this alleviates my boredom to try a new system and do it. So I'll sign off But it is nice to see a new system and it's pretty exciting. But right now, we can't get the starter kit for free. It's going to be, I think people I've seen online, we're paying $500 for the starter kit.
Oh, that's what
Um,
people were talking about online
yeah,
that you,
I mean, because
okay.
we can't, Medicare beneficiaries cannot get deals. It's the
Mhm.
anti-fraud legislation. So all of this stuff that sounds so good for other people is very negative
Smoke and
for
mirrors
us.
to you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So I'll sign off my video, but
Oh,
thank you.
no, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine. Um,
Thank you for sharing, though. I do appreciate that. It's
yeah,
good
it's
to,
great to
but
get that.
I will go ahead and continue on here. I'll let Denise talk a little bit about the Insight app here.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you guys have kids with type 1 or have relatives that have type 1 or loved ones that want to watch your blood sugars like a hawk. But if you do, the Insight app is something that loved ones can follow your um um you know all of your numbers, and even they can view everything you're doing, basically,
Yep,
not
let me
you're
go to the
doing,
next
but
slide here.
yeah, thanks.
Mhm.
So they can, I mean, yeah, so like if you had a kiddo on this system, you could see where their current blood sugar is, what their basal rate's doing, their active insulin time, their cassette, their battery life, all of that stuff. And the phone charge is also pretty slick too. So if you had a kid that was using this system, you definitely want to make sure they didn't let their phone die. Um, so it's a very, it's actually the most transparent of all of the follow systems throughout from all the other systems. So, I mean, this shows the most to the followers. So, it's not something you just want to give to your cousin or neighbor down the street or something, because it really showed a lot of your information. But if you had a kiddo that you wanted to follow, um, I think this would be a really valuable um, tool to use. So
Yeah, go ahead, Brad.
Curious because I know what Loop has for its capability. Can that person actually have control over their dosages or changing them to a workout mode?
mm, mm-mm,
So no control, it's just
no,
visibility on it.
I
but they
figured that
can
would have
see it
been a tough
all.
FDA approval there, but
Yes.
Mm-hmm,
Yes.
mm-hmm.
I
Because it would
did think,
really be a matter of like taking control out of the PWD's hands, right? I mean, so theoretically, if you had a kiddo that you didn't want to even have a phone, then they would have on their watch the ability to do their settings and you'd be in charge of the phone, right? Like you'd hold, does that make sense? Like if I had a 8-year-old child with type 1, I would probably, I mean, I'd have to send the phone with them to school, but I would be able to see everything they did. And then at home, when they're doing their homework and I wanted to hang on to their phone, I certainly could, and they could still bolus with their watch. You know what I mean? So screen time is one of the things that we're
yeah.
trying to think about now with kids, right? So it's pretty cool to be able to see everything.
That watch would have to be in relative distance to the
Yep,
Right,
it's
that's what
about
I
30
meant. Yeah,
feet. It's got to be.
yeah.
So it would have to be in the classroom with them. But
yeah.
that is, yeah, they would be able to go ahead and control that through the watch. And then we are going to be getting functionality with alarms and alerts and things like that, that if they get an alarm on their phone, that will also show up on this Insight app. That is coming. That isn't quite yet out there, but that'll be another feature as well. So for example, if the school nurse was a follower or something along those lines, and hey, they're in gym class right now and I see they're going low and I'm getting an alert for it, I can go ahead and help make sure there's some sort of
Yeah.
adjustment to that
Mhm.
right away. So that this will give you all the kind of the visibility on everything. And again, like Denise said, if you just wanted a family member to watch or something along those lines, you can actually have up to 15 people. So you can have quite a big
You could
amount of
have a
people there. I don't
huge
know.
following. We could all get really huge followings. Just kidding. That's a
Um,
joke. That's the
but
type 1
then
joke.
for the sake of time here, I'm just going to go ahead and push through these
Yeah,
just
go
so I want to
ahead.
make sure we have enough time for questions and everything like that. So just real briefly about the Twiist starter kits. Denise has hers, but
Do you
we'll
guys
go
want to
ahead and
see it?
but this will show
Raise your
you
hand.
everything that you get. The charging blocks there, cables should be underneath this pad here. This is actually, you will go ahead and log in, and if you were to go ahead and start the device, there's a couple little modules that they'll have you go through right away before you go ahead and get to training, and then we'll go through the whole spiel during training and everything like that. So the big thing here is everything that comes in this box is not disposable. Please keep on a hold of everything that is in here.
In the pink box, not
In the
the
pink
needles.
box. And then
Yeah.
your fusion sets, needles, syringes, wipes, and cassettes, you will go ahead and replace those. And that'll be everything that you would get on your refill kit that we would go ahead and dispose of that after you're done using that. And again, we recommend a maximum of 3 days. That is what we recommend with the 300 units there. So put it that way. And then again, it is powered by the Typool loop algorithm here. So this is paired up with us. The big thing here with the DIY looping and then our loop algorithm is ours has guardrails on there in order to get FDA approval. So it is not as up to date as the new DIY loop algorithm, but it should be pretty similar there. And then you get all the benefits of having an FDA approved device. So tech support assistance, you get, replacements, warranties, all of that fun jazz there. And then again, just some important kind of topics here to talk about with this is it is 300 units. Like Denise said, it's the weight of a golf ball when it is full of insulin. You have the options to go ahead and bolus how you'd like. There is actually another little button on here that we didn't talk about, but this blue button right here, you can kind of barely see it. This is actually you can use it to give 1 unit increments of bolusing if that is set up. If you and your doctor go ahead and feel that is something that you are capable or willing to have on there, go ahead and set that on there. Otherwise, you can just pause insulin delivery with that button there. Again, that widest glucose target range. And then for most patients with commercial coverage there, we're looking at a $0 down, and then ideally no more than $50 per month thereafter. And you are notified of what the cost will look like before you go ahead and get started on it. So that first month, even if you're covered at 100%, and the next month is a little bit more expensive, they will let you know so you can go ahead and make that decision because we don't want to get anybody locked into cost issues. I think that's the big thing. That's what caught my eye the most coming over is that pharmacy coverage there because we all know how expensive things can get. You could be looking at $2,000 to start a device and $500 every 3 months. Like this could be really expensive. And that's what this is addressing is we want to go ahead and avoid any sort of large costs with that. But that was just kind of a brief overview of the Twiist system. I'm more than happy to go to more detail regarding questions and things like that. I just wanted to save, about 10 minutes that we've got here in case you guys wanted me to go a little bit more in depth about anything that I had mentioned or anything you want me to kind of clarify on this stuff.
Yeah, or questions. Absolutely. Anything.
I got
Oh, go ahead, Fred.
That's okay. Waitlist time frame. Any idea on what that is and what's the fastest way? Is it referral from the provider or submission from the patient?
Yeah, that's a great question. Referral from the provider is probably going to be the quickest response on everything there, just because that lets us know that
hey, we spoke with our
you.
number directly and they want to just give it to us. We can put them on the list. That is the so there's a way for if people reach out to us directly, we will put them on the HCP list, like the whatever, like we'll bring them to the top of the list. But otherwise it comes normally from the HCP or the provider, the endo referral list, because then so that's usually the quickest. But if it was annoying to the provider or to the endo then I feel like if someone reached out to me directly, I would be happy to put them on the list in the way that the endo would have put them on the list. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And do you know time frames on either or?
Yeah, so half of Minnesota here is currently starting they're in their limited launch right now. So they're doing about 5 patients a month getting started on the device. And then we should be in the coming months here also started in on that. Unfortunately, I just can't give an exact date of when we're looking at that, but I would expect sometime before the end of the year here, we'll start to get patients started. But then I did see a chat question kind of pop up. The following alarms will be available.
That's at the top of their list. I mean, so that along with Android capability are like the number one top of the list. Like even before getting Dexcom integrated, they're talking about those 2 things being at the top of the list for people.
Yep. And
or
it is at
working on
approval
now?
stage right now for the alarm. So
So it's
the app
we're
can do
getting,
it privately. We are just waiting for approval from the FDA to go ahead and have that on.
yeah,
So when this is fully launched, I would expect that feature to be included in there.
there's just a
And
lot of red
then
tape right now, probably to,
yeah, sorry, I'm just reading the rest of the question in case I missed anything. So yes, when this is fully launched, I would expect that to be the case. For the limited launch, that might not be, but once we open it up for everybody and we don't have no more restrictions on numbers, I would expect that to be a feature that's on there.
I wanted to highlight too, Brennan mentioned this. So even though we're not holding people under a 3 to 4 year contract on our system, we are still warranted. So if your pump were to break or your batteries malfunction or something, you're still warranted for 3 years with your Twiist is still warranted for 3 years under the warranty that we provide, but you are not contracted to stay married to us for 3 years. Like if you use it for a year and a half and then you want to go back to whatever else, or you are not. Does that make sense? So it does not hold you. It does not tie your hands to us contractually. So
So, how can this be so much lower cost than the Omnipods?
So
that's a good question.
that is a great question. So the way it's been explained to me is we are buying down if we do need to for at least for the starter kit for sure. And then ongoing supplies as well. If you are a little over $50, say it's like $70 or something like that per month, we'll go ahead and get you down to that $50. So we are buying down the cost at this point. And
Do you
that's just
think?
auto applied. It's not a coupon code or anything
Yeah.
like that. That is just something that we go ahead and handle internally for you. So.
Okay. I mean,
And that's
I love
probably
the
not going to be
Clio.
it's not going to be forever. I don't think the buy down, I feel like it's probably going to be for the next couple of years, but we didn't get told a certain amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
What was your?
pretty ambitious. Obviously, the Clio set is pretty old and the infusion set, so that shouldn't
Mhm.
cost too much. But it's that beginning part where it's like, man, that should be a hefty sum. It was just kind
Mhm.
of surprising. I mean, I would love for it to shake up the market. I just find it hard to
It sounds,
believe that you guys put
Yes,
down
the
so much on price.
um
I'm just like, how is this going to actually work? So,
yeah, and with that $0 down there, if it's on the formulary for your plan, like it's listed on there, that $0 is what you would expect
that
to
is
pay
a
for that starter
caveat.
kit.
So if it is excluded from your plan, they cannot buy it down, right? So if it's excluded, completely excluded, like if it does that make sense? Like so if Blue Cross of Minnesota said, no, this is excluded, we will not cover this ever, then they cannot buy it down. Does that make sense? So it's confusing for people to be like, well, it says it's covered on my plan. Why would you have to buy it down?
Oh,
But
messages here.
um, but even though we know, I mean, everybody here on this call probably understands that things, quote unquote, are covered, but not affordable or, within a reasonable cost, because that's just how diabetes works, which is stupid. But um, so so yeah, there's like caveats to that, but
Sorry, I'm just seeing messages pop up in the chat here, so I
yeah,
want
I
to
don't
make
know if
sure
you
I'm
can answer those, but I tried to answer. I hope that was
Yeah,
correct.
so Renee's question, yes. So this is pharmacy. So if you, for example, started on a DME pump, Medtronic, Tandem, Beta, if you were to start on that last month and you want to go ahead and switch to this, since this is pharmacy coverage, you can go ahead and do that. There's no restrictions on it. Without
mhm.
getting too much into the weeds of it, it's essentially just different buckets of how insurance views things and how they cover it. So if you have a warranty on, DME, that doesn't affect your pharmacy coverage. And then pharmacy, since that's a monthly aspect, you could get the Omnipod 1 month and then switch to the Twiist the next month and go back and forth if you really wanted to, as
What
long as your
is
insurance will go ahead and cover
okay?
for that.
We have Express Scripts mail pharmacy, and would that be ordered from ES directly or need to come from Twiist? So all of ours will go through a pharmacy benefits. Currently, we are contracted with Byram Pharmacy, not DME, the Salt Lake City Pharmacy. So that's who we're doing the gradual or limited launch through, just so we can like follow this process to the end, so people get the device, get trained, and things don't get missed and fall through the cracks. So we're just trying to kind of streamline our own workflow as well. So what else was Renee saying? Warranty periods. Okay, Express Scripts. Yeah, so it would be if you're we would just need to figure out if you are on a Medicare Advantage plan, if we can use Byram Pharmacy to fill something for you. That man
And then
makes sense.
and then just going towards Jamie's question there regarding on the pump in relation to the sensor and things along those lines. So for most patients, it does not necessarily need to be on the exact same side as the sensor. If you are having connection issues, that'll be something that you would have to, potentially put it on the same side there. But in terms of what side the pump needs to face, if it needs to face, inside or outside, again, that is just if you're running into issues with connection with that. But we haven't heard anything with anybody that's currently on the device that they've had any issues with that. So again, it's just one of those things that if it starts to happen, that would probably be the reason that you would be running out of that connection issue. But you don't need to have your phone, pump, and sensor all on the same side there. You can have them however you want to wear that. And then again, if you run into issues, that's when we would potentially make that change there.
And well, never mind. I shouldn't. Never mind.
Go ahead,
Just kidding.
Brad.
I was gonna get in the weeds with like the real world diabetes versus like what we teach for diabetes or what. Yeah, but go ahead, Brad.
That's what I was kind of getting into. So someone loses the phone, do they contact each other directly and update the pump, or is it useless without the phone?
So the algorithm lives on the pump itself. So if it's having that
Mhm.
connection with the sensor, it'll go ahead and talk to it. You don't have to worry about having the phone with you. You just can't make any of the adjustments since you don't have the phone.
Bolus. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. That's good. So
You can
direct
still, well,
communication.
you can still bolus on the button because you have the blue button, but
Mhm.
you just won't know what your blood sugar is because you don't have your phone.
Yeah,
You
let's say
know,
you don't have your phone. Does it have direct to watch communication? Probably
It
not.
does have to be
no, it
connected
does
through the
not.
phone to the watch.
Not
I
yet.
did get that question the
Okay.
other day, and don't worry,
That's a
it's
little
something I'm asking for.
extreme. That's a little extreme, but I was just curious enough. I was like, wow, that would be very impressive.
One day, I keep hearing that as a question, so hopefully we can get Dean Kamen to invent the ability to do that for us. So,
But I think a lot of
but
runners, marathon runners, and everybody like that,
Oh
like
yeah.
that you just have both on you. They talk to each other. They don't have to carry their phone with.
hmm
So that's
mhm.
something that's a decent spiel.
Yeah, that's huge.
I spoke with Brittany about this in the past. Okay, I want to make sure I'm not overriding some of these questions here. Sorry.
And
Spoke with
any
Brittany
of
in the
your
past,
numbers?
and
Oh
I
yeah.
warned her about setting the glucose range. She said that's coming into play a little bit more. Are you guys, when you're starting people, telling them to do a range rather than just one number or five?
Okay. This is me and Brennan are in opposite minds of this. I have been told by Brittany that a range is best. And in fact, when I was just like reading more about the algorithm, it does make sense that a range is best, but people really like just one number. Some people want to do 87 to 87. And it is, I I don't know, I don't exactly know how to explain why, but it seems like it does better when it's a range.
Yeah.
Like at least Brittany says 15 apart, but Brennan says that shouldn't
You
matter.
you can put
I
it
want to
as
hear Brennan's because I'm in that same boat that range always works better because otherwise the pump has to decide, oh, I need to go up, I need to go low. It never really hits cruise
mhm.
control. It never hits this one thing. So I'm curious, what do you think
Yep.
about Brennan?
So you can so it's not necessarily that I disagree. It's more of that you can go as tight as you wanted it. So if you want ultra tight control, you can put it one, so 87 and 88 if you really wanted to. But the range is I would follow what the medical providers are saying on that, but you can go as tight as you want with that. So it's up to the kind of the preference there, what fits your needs the best. So we don't want to limit anybody on there. Like you don't have to be 15 apart. You could be 10, you could be 5, you could be 20, whatever you want to go ahead and set that. You could go all the way to the maximum at 80, 180 all the way down to 187 and have that as your range. You could do that. So it's just more of the flexibility aspect of it. So that's my disagreement is you can go as tight as you want with this. The system won't stop you from doing that.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to sample that and try that a little bit again. I just think that sometimes it's like, oh, high, oh, low, and then you get caught with compression lows or issues.
Mhm.
And then
So
it's really wonky when those happen, when you get the really screwy looking kind of sensor issues.
right. So the interesting thing is if we give it a range, it's going to target still one number in the very middle. So it doesn't, so like if I give it 110, it's going to target 105 constantly. It's always going to target 105.
Hmm.
But I don't, so it shouldn't matter, but I've heard feedback from other, because I have like we have a group chat or like a Teams chat with the employees on the system, and they have provided feedback that it seems like the algorithm does better with a range, and that's just sort of what I'm hearing, but I don't exactly know why. I don't I don't know why. I'll find out, but not before tomorrow, Brad, but I'll find out
Yeah.
and let you know.
And if you don't mind answering, Denise, a little personal and stuff, how
Sure.
long have you been looping? I thought you were maybe on Tandem.
Oh
When
no,
you
I
got
am on
Tandem.
Tandem now. Yes, I was looping for like 2 years before Control IQ got better. Or
Ah, gotcha.
let's see, I've probably been on Tandem for 2 years.
And prior to that, you were Omnipod looping or
Yeah,
Medtronic looping?
Omnipod looping.
Okay, gotcha.
And then I don't remember what happened. Something happened to my phone, and then I was like, exhausted from building the app and da 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 da, and I didn't want to do it again. So I just went to Tandem because I just was too tired. So the Twiist, the infusion sets available through for our
Oh,
system are Clio 90, and it looks like it looks like this, and it's a one-handed inserter. Sorry, this is an old one that I already inserted, but um, and then it's a tegaderm on the edge. I don't know. I feel like you can't really see this very well.
mhm.
Um, Here's a clear view of it, and it kind of, and you can rotate where this goes on. I don't know if Renee can see this or not, but so this can
Y-
be rotated around, which is pretty slick.
mhm. And we are working on other options. They should be coming
Yes.
in the future, relatively soon. It's the best way I can
Every
put that.
Everything is soon.
Um, yes, but not soon as in years away. I'll put it that way.
Soon as in like
Um,
a couple of months away.
As in a cure, right?
Exactly. No, sooner than a cure, I think.
I
I
know,
think we'll
I
have
know.
an infusion set sooner than a cure. I think. I hope.
Just joking.
Gosh.
yes. And then
I don't know who's
Renee
working on
as
a cure.
well. If for whatever reason you have other infusion sets from a previous device, like I said with the Beta or the Medtronic device, or if there's just another third-party infusion set that is out there that has that lure lock on it, so it's just a little connector that connects the tube to the pump. Those are compatible with our device. So if you love the device, but the infusion set doesn't work for you, but there's another one that you do know that works for you, by all means, please go ahead and use those. Um, and then Brett, to answer your question, for the $50 a month, that includes the infusion set and the cassette, and then alcohol wipes as well for that. So it'll be everything except for the sensor to go ahead and use the device, sensor and insulin. So that would be the $50 that would be included in them.
So that twist, the pod twist is can connect with the kind of like a tandem connector.
Not Tandem. So Tandem's got their own little connector on their infusion set specifically, but like the Medtronic's infusion sets, they would be able to connect. So it's just a little bit
Uh,
different connector.
got it.
But the same, yes, it's that concept. It's just because Tandem uses their own infusion set connector, they don't work with anybody else's,
Yeah,
is the way
yeah,
to put that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll
Yeah, no,
definitely contact you with the more email and want to put the list. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, please feel free to reach out to me. And then, yeah, any other questions? There's definitely a lot more things that we can go into. We can go into a little bit of more of the nitty-gritty stuff if you'd like. Whatever, whatever you guys would like to know. I'm gonna more than willing to answer anything.
And I just want to remind people too that this is only iPhone 10 and newer compatible, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yep. So you need to have an iPhone. Keep in mind, yeah, don't jump the gun here. And then you got to be
Mhm.
switching over to the Libre 3. We didn't talk about Eversense Senseonics. They are in, the working that's
Mhm.
be a compatible sensor. There is a lot of hoops to kind of jump through to get on that sensor. So I don't think anybody on this group is on that sensor, but that will be compatible with this pump. I'm sure there's still talks with Dexcom. They need to get their heads on straight,
Mhm.
but that might
Brad, do
Good
you
way to
have
put
very
that.
many people that are on Eversense? Do you have a lot of people that no?
not in my
There's
per clinic, not in my practice. It's so cumbersome,
okay.
it's so expensive, and it's only the people that have really bad skin allergies that we kind of do
Mm-hmm.
end up
Direct to
seeing
that.
it. But yeah, it's so far and few, and our clinic has charged a couple of people like $12,000 for the insertion. It's ridiculous. We're still working it out. We're a
There's
smaller
apparently a
practice.
dermatologist in Edina that
Yeah.
inserts them. Do you know who that is?
No, that's what I've been hearing, that they've been doing that, or people that do the Nexplanon, OBGYN clinics can sometimes do,
Oh,
but it's still such a big cost. You're looking at, $300 to $500 to insert, $300 to $500 to get it removed. And,
Mm.
they're
by that
saying
time,
now you just should leave it in. It can just be left in. That's what
yeah. I,
that, and they were like, well, we're considered a permanent whatever. And I was like, well, what about an MRI? Like, what do you do? How do you get an MRI? I don't know. So, anyways, but
yeah, there's supposed to be an MRI safe, but
oh,
I don't know about leaving other stuff in them.
yeah.
When it comes to it, I've heard of a few of them that they were unable to retract, and it kind
Yeah, they
of
can't
like,
find them. Hmm.
a little worrisome because you're going to build up some scar tissue or some network or something like that eventually.
Right,
So I
right.
advise, but yeah. Anyways, sorry, I don't know too much of this stuff, so correct me if I'm wrong, but that'll be working with
Oh,
Eversense
Yep.
down the road, but we got to
Eversense will be
be.
coming next year.
oh, and then Allison, yes. So it's a disposable cassette, and we're instructing people to change it about every 3 days. It doesn't have a hard stop to where it forces you to change it at 3 days. So if you still have insulin left, I mean, people will do what they need to do, but yes, it's a disposable cassette that you will twist off the pump itself. Mine is gonna beep if I untwist it, but yeah. So the cassette is on the back here because these two are separate pieces.
Do you guys have real world examples of the occlusion detection and what the details are?
Hmm.
Mhm.
Like, it's not stopping them, it's just letting them know, like, hey, you're kind of getting a half-arsed amount of insulin, or
Yep, it'll let them know for whatever reason if there is some sort of delay in the amount of insulin that they're getting, whether it's a full blockage or a partial blockage, and it'll allow them to go and it'll say, "Hey, you should check this, make sure everything is good to go. If it's not, then you would go ahead and change it out." And then in terms of the timing on the 9 times faster or the 19 minutes, that we are pulling that data directly from the user guides from all of the other competitors in terms of how long they expect their occlusion detection to be. And then I've got some studies we can show you tomorrow if you want to go ahead and look at that, or I can email them to you that you can go ahead and see where the data is coming from for that. But yeah.
nice, nice. Yeah, so I'm diving into the weeds. Other questions? Sorry, guys, I've been manhandling a lot of questions, and so feel free to chirp in group or chat in your questions.